This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 28 and 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone that rule well. And peace and blessings be multiplied on all you brethren that's teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the elect, 144,000. And the rest of the elect out there, shalom. I'm the brother Dhamma Agabar, here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. All right, and this is what the prophets have always done, and this is what the prophets are doing at this very moment. We've been prophesying, starting with the elders and the apostles, on the YouTube since 2007. And one of the main themes, that we've been prophesying about is of war and against great kingdoms, against Babylon the Great, America, against Russia, against these so-called superpowers, And we've been telling you Israelites that these nations would crumble, they would fall. We've been telling you that war, evil, and pestilence will be the end of this society. This is how the Lord wants this world to go, how the Lord is going to end this age. And we've been, ad nauseum prophesying and speaking on these things whenever the Spirit, will get on us to go into these topics. And it ain't no difference now. And it seems like right now, that's all you're hearing about, around the earth is what? War. You're hearing, us prophesying and speaking against great kingdoms, against America, telling you that China and Russia, a lot of these other nuclear capable nations are gearing up and gathering together for war. And we've been telling you that through these wars, through these, disagreements, through, negligent governments, through, through the pride and arrogance and the wickedness of, the powers that be, that famines, death, judgments, perplexity, uprising of the peoples. We've been speaking and prophesying about all these things because they're right here at the table. And what's one of the things we've been telling you is going to happen to you, to you little YNs, to you little 2/3, to you little, millennials, not millennials, but you little Gen Zers, all of you little rugrats out there, that this man was going to eventually declare a draft. And a lot of you little YNs, a lot of you little young 18 or 25, and they may up the age limit, are going to be eventually drafted into this great meat grinder, which is going to be World War III. And you got this guy Trump who is saying that that is not ruled off the table. That is still a possibility. And we know that it will eventually come to pass because they need more bodies. All right. Hey, these devils are on the war path, and they need bodies to throw at this great meat grinder, man. And remember, they see a lot of you individuals and a lot of you citizens and people as useless eaters any damn way. So it would be nothing for you to be drafted to go on the front lines and to go and fight and die for the pimps of America, which are these tiny tops, those so-called, 1948ers. And ultimately, it's all biblical prophecy, man. Hey, and we're entering a time to where, hey, these things are getting ready to come to pass because the prophets have spoken. So I want to play some of this video from Secular Talk because they're going to go into this. And the title of this video is "Can't Rule Out the Draft." And remember, Trump said that, hey, this war is going to be quick and easy. We'll be in and we're going to get out. Now he's saying it can be 3 to 4 weeks. Now he's basically saying that it's going to be a forever war. And then you had these bugged out Christians over there in the White House, that false fake prophetess, what's her name? Paula White, praying. They got these Christians in there putting their hands on Trump, praying to Jesus that, he's anointed and he's powerful. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And it's all bullshit. And like one of the elders keeps saying, and only time you hear the so-called white man and these white Christian nationalists or the president or the government talks about the Bible and talks about anything that has to do with the Lord is when they want to go to war. And guess what? They are going to go to war. Hey, and this is going to be the war to end all wars. And the beautiful part about it is, in the midst of this third world war, is our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai, not no goddamn Jesus Christ, not no white boy, But our Lord and Savior, a so-called dark man, you know, is going to make his second coming in the midst of this third world war, and he's going to judge, and he's going to make war on all of these heathens and these nations and their armies, man. And he's going to thoroughly purge his floor, man. And he's going to do away with these damn devils, and he's going to do away with a lot of you Jake, that are in the armed services, that are a part of this military, that is a part of this war machine of your damn enemy Esau Edom. You're going to find yourselves fighting against Yahweh Shai when he makes his second return, and the angels, and you're going to be eviscerated, man. So let's play some of this video, because we've been telling you, Jakes, that a draft is going to come. You know, and don't get it twisted. You can't believe anything that comes out of Trump lips, that come out of anything that this government says, because they're a bunch of goddamn liars and blatant liars. These guys telling lies is like breathing. So they'll tell you, you know, there won't be a draft. Whatever this man says, expect the exact opposite, man. And we know they're going to eventually need a draft, because they're going to need more and more bodies, because, hey, war is not going to stop. It tells you that in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. There's a time and a place for everything under heaven. And war is one of them. And now we're in a time of war. Okay? So you need to get that through your skull. You need to understand that hey, it's just that time and that season. So let's listen to some of this.
All right, y'all. So this right here is a big moment that everybody's talking about. Okay, I've seen so much chatter about this. I'm going to play the clip here for you. So Maria Bartiromo is speaking to Caroline Levitt. And Caroline Levitt is asked a pretty direct question about what the plans are for the war. And, you know, hey, you know, people are worrying across this country. Mothers are worrying. Is my son going to get sent in a fucking draft to fight in this war of choice?
Hey, and I did a video yesterday, Salakia, for stopping it, that, you know, even though Western media is not reporting on it, and they're not making a big deal about it or speaking about it, they already are gathering certain American troops and getting ready to bring them on the front lines. They're getting ready to have a ground invasion over there in Iran with American soldiers. I forget which division. It was some airborne division, to where, you know, videos are coming out where people are contacting their mothers and families saying that, you know, this is the last message that I can send you, because they take my phone, because we're getting ready to be brought to the front lines. And basically the soldier told his mom, you know, pray for us, because it's a good chance we're not going to make it back, man. So, you know, even though they're not reporting on it, there could possibly already be boots on the ground over there in Iran, which are American soldiers, which those guys are not coming home. All right. Like I said, they're not going to make it out of there, because, you know, trying to invade Iran is a very stupid and very dumb thing to do. You need a huge amount of soldiers, you know, hundreds of thousands of soldiers, if you're going to try to do a ground invasion in the middle of Tehran, which would be ultimately a death sentence, because, you know, it's just not suitable terrain to do a ground invasion on. You'll literally be sitting ducks. And, you know, eventually they're going to have a draft, because it's going to, remember, this is the war to end all wars, man. The body count here is going to surpass any other war that there's ever been. So they're going to need bodies. They're going to need bodies. They're going to need bodies. And eventually, you know, and then, you know, the morale of the soldiers that are already in the military are not very high. A lot of these people are looking for ways to get out of this war. A lot of these guys are trying to, contact. I forgot what I did a video on it yesterday, where basically they're looking for any excuse that they can to not go to this war, to deem it unconstitutional, to deem it to be not fitting to go to. But guess what? These devils don't give a damn. You remember, you have to. It's your American duty and your right as a military government issued, soldier of America. Of Israel, to fight and die for them. So hey, man, it's only going to get worse and worse. And what they're speaking about here is going to happen eventually. So let's go.
That was illegal and offensive and waged by the axis of Epstein, Netanyahu, and Trump against this country that wasn't going to attack us, and also agreed to the hardest line restrictions on uranium right before they were attacked. People are going, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. And listen to her reaction when she's asked about this draft.
Mothers out there are worried that we're going to have a draft, that they're going to see their sons get in and daughters get involved in this. What do you want to say about the president's plans for troops on the ground? As we know, it's been largely an air campaign up until now.
It has been, and it will continue to be, and President Trump wisely does not remove options off of the table. I know a lot of politicians like to do that quickly, but the president, as commander-in-chief, wants to continue to assess the success of this military operation. It's not part of the current plan right now, but the president, again, wisely keeps his options on the table.
So boots on the ground and a potential draft are options not being taken off the table. This country will not survive that. You would see an exodus from this country, the likes of which we've never fucking seen before, in a scenario where they try to do a draft. Now, I know they're dumb. I know they're incompetent. I don't know if they're that dumb or that incompetent. I really don't. I mean, that would be a level above and beyond. Potentially.
Well, yeah, they are that dumb because the scriptures tell you that is there no more wisdom in Teman? You know, wise, the wisdom has perished from the counsel of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And remember, these devils are going to eventually have no choice but to have a draft because they're not going to win this. They're not going to win this war with Iran. This is why they're talking about possibly dropping pocket nukes on Iran. You know, you just had Bibi Netanyahu saying that, you know, we have something big planned. We have something enormous, you know, in the wakes that's going to possibly put an end to this war. And you just recently had that, you know, that nuclear plane, I forget what it's called, you know, being deployed and, you know, and is making moves. So, hey, at this point, these devils are desperate. They'll try anything. And remember, you know, these devils, they're in that spirit of all or nothing. So not only were these devils crazy enough to drop a nuke on Iran, they're also crazy to have a draft and to put boots on the ground and sacrifice hundreds of thousands and even millions of American citizens at this thing, man. You see, and this is why we've been telling you, Jakes, to come up out of Egypt, to come up out of America, to get your mind right, man, to stop putting your hope and future in America. Because this place is going to be your destruction. This place is going to be your dread. And this place is going to sacrifice your ass, man. This is why you need to have your faith and trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and in the world to come. You need to get out of this world, man, as quickly as possible. First and foremost, spiritually, I'm saying. And like he said, this is going to cause a mass exit as well. A lot of the people that they plan on drafting are not going to have the means or the money to just be able to just leave this country if they find their names, you know, if they find out they've been drafted. You don't have a lot of Americans that can just get up and flee and get the hell out of this country and go somewhere to dodge this draft. You see, you're going to have a lot of these people getting taken to this draft, kicking and screaming. It's going to be like when Ukraine and Russia was doing the draft and they were just grabbing motherfuckers off the street, grabbing military age men and women off of the streets to go fight. They were even grabbing mentally retarded motherfuckers off the streets to go fight. You had a lot of people that had to get drafted that was forcibly breaking their legs, breaking arms, you know, jumping off buildings, breaking limbs, doing anything they possibly could do to avoid going into the war. You see? And this is the times, and this is the you know, the temperature of things that are happening on the earth, man. And these motherfuckers are crazy enough to pull it, man. Let me get this precept real fast. Now I know this is this already took place, but remember, everything in the scriptures is spiritual. You gotta look at this from a spiritual aspect. It happened then, you know, it's gonna happen again. And this is why we've been telling you, Jakes, man, out there, to get your mind right. You better get with the program, and you better get with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And those of our people that are still in this world that ain't getting down with this truth, that's not repenting, that's not acknowledging the fact that they're Israelites, and you know, the only way is through Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Hey, you're gonna get got, man. You're gonna get got in a major way, and the Lord's gonna allow a lot of you Jakes to be taken by Esau in many different manners, man. Remember, the Lord, he has 4 kinds, man. You know. So let's check this out. This is Jeremiah 42:11. It says, "Be not afraid of the king of Babylon, of whom ye are afraid. Be not afraid of him, saith Yahweh. For I am with you to save you and to deliver you from his hand. And I will show mercies unto you, that he may have mercy upon you and cause you to return to your own land." Now, of course, we know that that Trump and Babylon is not going to allow us to return to our own land, but I'm reading the scripture in with a spiritual warning. You see, and this is why the Lord has said He's going to save us. But first, and now in this time, we got to put our faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And the Lord can deliver His elect from being drafted, from being put on the front lines of this great meat grinder, man. The Lord can make it to where your name is not going to pop up on that draft. Or even if it does pop up on that draft, hey, the Lord can make a way for you to be overlooked or, delivered from it, man. But it takes faith, and it takes belief, and it takes, you getting right with the Heavenly Father to be in a position to even receive His mercies. Okay. It says, but if ye say, we will not dwell in this land, neither obey the voice of Yahweh your power, saying, no, but we will go into the land of Egypt, where we shall see no war. And that's the majority of our people, man. That they have their faith and their trust in the shadow of Egypt and in America. Now, of course, you got a lot of Jakes saying, man, this shit ain't right. This is some bullshit. You know what I mean? I ain't going to fight no war. But at the end of the day, you still have your faith and trust and hopes in Babylon, in the spiritual Egypt, America. A lot of our people are hoping and praying that things, that this war don't happen, that cooler heads prevail, that, this war can end and things can go on as, things can go back to normal and they could, continue to chase the bag. They can see their kids go to college. They can, have a somewhat all right future here in Babylon the Great. You see, the majority of our people are not hastening the return of Yahweh Shai. They're not hastening, for the kingdom to be established on earth, for new bodies, for us to be changed, for this place to be destroyed, for, all of the prophecies to come to pass. You see, and this is why the majority of our people are going to lose and sink with the sinking ship known as America, which is Babylon the Great, spiritual Egypt, man. Verse 14, saying, no, but we will go into the land of Egypt, where we shall see no war, nor hear the sound of the right. Because you got Jake saying, nigga, ain't going to be no draft, bro. They're just saying that, bro. You know what I mean? Don't even trip, bro. Because they don't really truly understand the depths of Satan. And ultimately, they're hoping and praying that these things that the prophets are speaking don't come to pass. Because why? Jake is fully invested in this world. They don't want to see Yahweh Shai come back. They don't want to see Esau taken off of the throne. They love America. They love this place, man. And they're hoping and praying that this place continue to go on. And you got a lot of these dumbass Jakes and these Christian, 2/3 Christian ass Jakes praying for Donald Trump, man, that really believe that he's a vessel chosen by the Lord to bring the return of Christ to save America, man. It's crazy. It says, nor hear the sound of the trumpet, nor have hunger of bread, and there will we dwell. And now, therefore, hear the word of Yahweh, ye remnant of Judah. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel. If ye wholly set your faces to enter into Egypt, and to go to sojourn there, then it shall come to pass that the sword which ye feared shall overtake you there in the land of Egypt, and in the famine whereof you were afraid shall follow close after you there in Egypt, and there you shall die. You see, and this is what's going to happen to a lot of our people here in the spiritual Egypt in America, because that which is then and now. You had Jake in that spirit back then. You got a lot of Jakes in this same spirit now in this modern day Egypt, man. It says, so it shall be with all the men that set their faces to go. And you got niggas that sold out. You got guys that are, that finally sold out and that finally got that bag, that finally got that check, finally got that, their dream car. And these niggas are settled here. If you sold out and you got a bunch of money, obviously you plan on being here for a while because you need time to spend that money. You need time to continue selling out and pushing false doctrines and doing whatever you got to do to secure future bags, man. You see? So guess what? Them niggas is going to be melted and they're going to die here in Babylon, man. It says, so shall it be with all the men that set their faces to go into Egypt to sojourn there. There they shall die by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence. And guess what? This war is going to bring all of these things, man. You see, this war is about to bring economic collapse. It's about to bring even more, harder times, difficult times, You got a lot of people who are crashing out right now, man. You got a lot of people doing videos, just screaming in the camera, talking about, I'm tired of life, bro. I'm tired of being here. I don't want to fail anymore. You got a lot of people that's hoping and praying every morning when they wake up that a huge asteroid is hurling towards Earth to totally take this place out because they don't want to be here anymore. Well, how much more you think when this war is in its full, in full tilt, man? When more of these economic disturbances, supply chains, famine, death, destruction, economic collapse, sedition, when the SH shit hitting the fan scenario is in full go mode, man. You see? And if you don't have, the wisdom of knowledge shall be the stability of our time and strength of salvation. If you're not truly in in tune with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and under his wing and under his hedge of protection, man, you're going to be open to all of these judgments and all of these different scenarios. And the Lord's going to bug you out, man. You see, and the Lord's going to bring all of these evils upon you. It says, "For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, as my anger and my fury have been poured forth upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so shall my fury be poured forth upon you, when ye shall enter into Egypt, and ye shall be an extraction and an astonishment and a curse and a reproach, and ye shall see this place no more." You see? Yahweh have said concerning you, O remnant of Judah, go ye not into Egypt. Know certainly that I have admonished you this day. And this is the same thing that we're doing to Jake. We're constantly warning Jake and telling them, come out of her, my people. Come out of the ways of Babylon. Put away this American culture, this American thought process, being black, Mexican, Latino, having your faith and your trust that things are going to go smooth, that America is going to continue forever. You see, come out of this fucking place, man. You gotta totally detach yourself from the ways of this world and seek the old paths wherein is a good way, man. It says, for you dissembled in your hearts when ye sent me unto Yahweh your power, saying, pray for us unto the Lord our God, and according to all that Yahweh our power shall say, so declare unto us, and we will do it. And the Lord is not that happening? Don't you have the prophets and the men of the Lord doing this very same thing? And what is Jake doing? Rejecting it, talking shit, scoffing, mocking, making every excuse to not to return, but to be settled here in Babylon the Great. It says, and now have I this day declared it to you, but ye have not obeyed the voice of Yahweh your power, nor anything for which he hath sent me unto you. Now therefore know certainly that ye shall die by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence, in the place whither ye desire to go and to sojourn. And that being here in Babylon the Great, America, is going to come to pass, man. So let's go back here.
Even for these absolute thugs and goons and criminals, okay? And deep down, they probably know. Okay, that's not going to fly. Why? Because, guys, and I was literally talking about this the other day with my mother, right? Like, in the past, World War II, everybody realized, oh, we got to do this war. We got to do this war. I mean, it's the fucking Nazis. Like, they're the epitome of evil. And so there was a real good reason. If I was alive at the time, I could see myself signing up to go fight that war, thinking of what the Nazis represented, right? So, like, that one, easy. Even when you look at the Iraq War, now there were a select few people who kind of were able to see through the bullshit all along. But when the Afghanistan war happened, it was like 92% of the country supported it because we were just hit on 9/11. They blamed Al-Qaeda and the Taliban.
Yeah, but now people are realizing to the fact that all of these wars, a lot of this shit is being orchestrated and, all these wars are eventually banker wars, man. A lot of these wars are being done for nefarious reasons, for wicked agendas at the end of the day. And now with this whole Iran and, this third world war, a lot of people are waking up to the fact that this war is being fought on behalf of Israel. A lot of these people are realizing that this war is not about helping America. It's about defending and funding Israel, putting them first. While America is in shambles, the country could have used all these trillions and billions of dollars to make America great again, to help homelessness, to give Americans better jobs, working wages, good medical care, fix the potholes, have all these goddamn high speed rails, turn this place into, a futuristic utopia. But now it's being used to fight all these wars, to devalue your dollar. And it's only going to bring inflation, economic woes, and more hard times on the American people. And they're not falling for it. They don't want nothing to do with it, man. But guess what? These elites, these international bankers are going to force this war upon you either way. And it's going to eventually lead to sedition. Revelations, the 16th chapter. 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 15. All of these scenarios and situations in total, like I said, the SHTF scenarios hitting the fan. Famine, pestilence, death. All these end time prophecy scenarios, man.
And was protecting Al-Qaeda. So there was an argument. There were so many people signed up like, oh, I got to go defend our country. I want to go do that. The Iraq War, 72% of the country supported that. More of a stretch, but a lot of people still believe there was a connection between Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden, and that Saddam Hussein was actually a threat to us. People were nervous and scared after the attack on 9/11. They were primed for propaganda, and they were propagandized. And so you're talking about a 92% support for Afghanistan, 72% for Iraq. And then here we are today in 2026. And the approval rating of this war, when they launched it, illegally, by the way, because it wasn't approved by Congress at all, was what, 34% on average? I've seen polls as low as 27%, and I've seen them as high as like 40%, but the average was like 34% or something like that. So stop and think about that. There's virtually nobody in the entire country that doesn't have some reservations.
Right, and what do you think is going to happen when they try to enact a draft and force these people to go fight in the war that nobody approved of? It's going to lead to all hell breaking loose, sedition. They're going to have to bring in martial law. They're going to have to drag a lot of these people that are war-bound, kicking and screaming. They're going to have to go door to door looking for this person or that person because nobody's going to show up when they implement this draft. Like I said, they're going to have to do like Ukraine was doing and driving around and looking at anybody who looks military age or capable of fighting in this great meat grinder to go lay their lives down for Israel. They're going to be grabbing you and throwing you in paddy wagons and in trucks, shipping you off to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, putting a rifle and a helmet on your head and telling you to go and fight, man. This is why I read that the other day that the men of Babylon have foregone to fight. They're going to remain within their holds. They're going to be like unto women. See? So this place is cooked on every level, man.
Nobody is looking at this going, oh, for only Lindsey Graham is the only motherfucker in the world. And fucking Benjamin Netanyahu. They're the only people who have zero reservations about this. Maybe you got the fundamentalist, evangelical, Christian Zionist freaks who think this is going to be a holy war and usher in the rapture and Armageddon and end times, and Jesus is going to come down on a winged horse and bring you to heaven with him personally. Those freaks probably are all...
See, but this is what they don't know. Like I said earlier, hey, they're going to fight in this war, and they're going to eventually fight against Yahushua. This is Revelations 12:7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels. And who's the dragon? Is we know it's dealing with the ancient Roman Empire, but it's the modernized Roman Empire, which is America, NATO, and the EU. And like I said, and when you go get drafted to go fight in this so-called unholy war, you're going to eventually fight against Yahushua when he makes his second return. You can read that in Revelations, the 19th chapter. You can read that in the Apocrypha. It says, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. And he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. You see? So if you are a part of the American military, if you're in, these services, when these things happen, you're going to be literally find yourself fighting against Yahushua's second coming, and you're going to be totally annihilated and burnt with fire, man. All right. And a lot of you are going to be, I say this too. Hey, we know that the mark of the beast has to come before this third world war fully kick off. And a lot of you individuals that get drafted into this war, they're more than likely going to put a microchip in you, man. You see? Before you go to this fight on this great meat grinder, they're going to implant that micro C-hip in you, man, which is going to be even more reservations for you to be destroyed by Yahushua, man. Not only are you going to be destroyed for being a worshiper and receiving this man's mark in your right hand and in your forehead, you're going to be destroyed for even taking up arms and fighting against Yahushua in his second return, man. So, hey, man, it's not looking good, man.
Probably are all on board for this. But outside of that, there's no fucking will for this. Zero will for this. The second they would try to do something like a draft, there would be literally millions of people leaving this country within the next month. Millions of people would be out of this bitch.
Right. I mean, those that can leave, but then what? You're going to have people that's going to fight against it. You're going to have that sedition. They're not going to regard their kings nor princes. A lot of people are going to be, taking up arms to fight, not even being drafted into this war. You see? So, hey, man, the stage is being set, man.
It would be Audi 5000, y'all. And you know what? Maybe that's what this country needs in order to fucking snap out of it, in order to wake up. Because Trump is such an idiot. I think he, just like Hegseth, feel like, they're like playing a video game. Right? Well, guess what? It's not a video game, bitch. People are actually coming back in fucking body bags. Okay? You're actually bombing elementary school girls. you're actually poisoning a city of 10 million people in Tehran and giving them nuclear winter by Israel bombing the oil refineries.
Right, and you think these devils give a fuck about you average, everyday American citizens, especially you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans? You think they have any reservation at all of drafting your sons and your daughters and putting them on the front lines of this great meat grinder and getting totally mashed up and blown apart and, bombed to death so that they can bring in this greater Israel project so that Esau can fulfill his agenda? Come on, bro. Play a couple more minutes and I'm
nuclear winter by Israel bombing the oil refineries. All right, this is completely and utterly out of control. We lost all of our radar systems in the Middle East. All of our radar systems are gonzo. All right, they know what they're doing. They're actually extracting a lot of damage. And now we're in so deep and there is no fucking exit ramp. Like, what is happening? So if they were to do something like a draft, that would be the wake-up call of all wake-up calls. Where, it's funny because I have a couple people I talk to in my life who I view as like the bellwether, the barometer for like your average American who doesn't follow politics too closely. One of them is my mom. And now when she talks about Trump, she sounds like me. And never in my life has that been the case, ever. And she doesn't watch the show. She never watched my show. But now she's like, this is terrible. This is horrible. These guys are out of control. These guys are acting like Nazis. That's what she's saying. She's like the ultimate enlightened centrist type. That's what she's saying. Okay? So that's what nobody's going to go, oh, yes, I'm going to go send my fucking 21-year-old son to go die in Iran. Like, not going to happen. Not going to happen. So part of me almost wishes they do the draft so that everything fucking crumbles immediately.
Well, hey, they are going to do the draft, and everything in the society is going to crumble, man. All right, so this is 2 Ezra 16 and 18. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils, and what shall I do when these evils shall come? Well, the only thing you can do if you're an Israelite, a Negro, Latino, a Native American is to hope and pray that you're part of the elect and that you've gotten on the right side with Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. Other than that, you're finished. You're cooked. All right. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sin as scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. It's talking about, the world and mainly you Israelites, man. 2/3 of our people. You see? It says, behold, victual shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. You see, and these things are bubbling up. They're escalating. They're getting more and more intensified, as each day passes by. And we've been warning and prophesying and doing videos on these things ad nauseum over and over and over again. But Jake ain't really listening. Jake's not really focused. They're not really paying attention. But guess what? The Lord's going to force them to pay attention. It says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. And guess what? War brings famine. That whole situation with the Strait of Hormuz is going to bring famine, supply disruptions. You already see the price of gas going up. Each day, the gas is going up higher and higher and higher, man. You see? And that's going to eventually lead to the price of other foods, goods, and services getting more expensive. Things are going to get tighter. There's going to be a supply and demand issue, which is going to cause the price to go up and for things to be, more expensive. But these things are also going to be harder to get, which is going to lead to what? Desperation, anger, violence, invading one another pretty soon. You see? It says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men. Right. And they bring in this draft, they bring in martial law. People are not going to be out there working on farms and doing everyday, jobs that bring food and water and things of that nature to these stores. People are going to be in hiding. People are going to be afraid. They're not going to be out there like a regular day where everybody gets up in the morning to go to work and do what they got to do throughout the day-to-day basis. People are going to be, trying to be safe, trying to be hiding. They're not going to be so just out and about like it normally is now, because it's going to be evil times, man. You see? It says, for of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks. And as in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives. Or as a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so, in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword, and the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through. Right, ain't gonna be no more what do you call it, landscaping services. People out here, like I said, it's not gonna be business as usual, you know. It's going to be bad out here. People are going to be afraid. People are not going to be just out in the open like that, because your life could be in very danger. Women could be grabbed and raped. Children could be taken and sacrificed or eaten or raped or raped, you know? It's going to be complete and total chaos. You could be out there walking and get grabbed up by the grabbed up by the powers that be and thrown on the front line of this great meat grinder, man. You know? It says, the virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The woman shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Why? In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. See, it says, hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods whom the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not even a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. You know, and this is why we got to be prepared and understand that these things are all prophetic, and these things are going to come to pass, man. But hey, we need to be on the right side. We need to be on point with Yahweh Shem Yahushai, so we can be delivered in Psalms 91 out of these things, man, and preserved and kept and delivered, and to have the angels with us in these times which are coming, man, because these things are coming. Hey, and they're going to be here before you jakes know it or not, man. So you better repent and get yourself right with Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. All praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Lord willing, you edify. To the next one. Shalom.